What's up guys, welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be showcasing my Headpopper slash Gunslinger build on Cyberpunk 2077. A few things you need to know before we start. You want to be level 60, you want to have the Dogtown DLC, and you want to have the extra perk shards that are scattered around the Cyberpunk map and Dogtown map. So I will be linking a guide in the description for you guys to go and get those extra perks. You can go do that right now, then come back. Also, you need the at least this ones, right? This perk points you get from the skill progression thingies. You need at least the ones in level 15, and if you even want to, you can go for the 35. But really, we're gonna be fine. Basically, there's gonna be a lot of extra perk points that we're not gonna be using much. Anyway, let's just get on with it. You want to get 18 on body, 20 reflexes, 20 technical ability, and 20 on cool. For the relic, you want to use the emerging cloaking and the sensory protocol, as well as the vulnerability analytics and machine learning. This will help out a lot for the drones and mechs and all those stuff that we are weak to, basically, because this build relies a lot on headshot damage, and robots do not have a head. So this is going to help us do a lot of damage otherwise. You can use also jailbreak and use whatever you want. We're going to get to that later. Okay, for body, we're going to get everything here with everything here. This allows us to do a lot of damage, basically. I'm sorry, not a lot of damage. This allows us to mitigate a lot of damage and take on a lot of damage with Adrenaline Rush. You can just not use this if you don't have the perk points. Let me just go ahead and get rid of the perk points that we're not going to be utilizing as much, right? In case you don't have them, then you can just do what I'm doing here. As you can see, this build works perfectly fine like this if you don't have those 7 perk points. Anyway, this is the body. For reflexes, you want to top up everything in the middle. Okay, this allows you to be able to air dash and dash like this, whoop, whoop, and air dash like this, whoop, whoop. And why do we want to do this? Well, this is basically one of the best skills in the game. Basically, you're going to be dodging a lot of damage, a lot of enemies, while doing mitigation, right? So you can see here, mitigation chance when performing a dash. It's incredible. Also, this allows you to be faster at everything. Basically, allows you to be faster at shooting, reloading, sliding, climbing. So you can run and reload, run and shoot. You're going to be shooting at all times. Basically, you can shoot and dash. And also gives you a lot of stamina for neutralizing enemies, right, while dashing. And this is very useful since we're using Deadeye, and we need to be topped up on stamina for Deadeye to proc. So anything that will get us up in that stamina and doesn't waste that much stamina is very useful. As you can see here, Tailwind allows us to air dash without costing us stamina, and if we're out of stamina, air dashing gives us stamina. So this is incredible. Basically, allows you to be faster, mitigating damage, and getting stamina from just dashing. Now for technical ability, we want to top up on that cyberware. Okay, we're going to be a cyberpunk. We're going to get all things cyber. We're going to get license to chrome and edge runner with all the perks on the side. We're going to be utilizing cellular adapter for this build. Now, we'll get onto this later because you want to use also chipware connoisseur, but you don't want to use this for combat. We're going to get onto that later. Here, you want to get gluten for wall, first aid, transfusion, health freak, field medic with borrowed time for more survivability, better recharge for your health items, more health from your health items, faster use of health items, just survivability overall. For cool, and this is our main three. You want to get focus, Deadeye, Nerves of Stung Seal, Running Gun, with all perks on side, well, except for pull. You want to get all this, basically. This allows us to use Deadeye, allows us to do the focus mode. Let me show you how that works. When you aim, as you can see, time is slowed by 25% every time you aim, right? Which is very useful in this build. We're relying a lot on slowing down time for us to be, you know, hitting those headshots at all times. Just making it easier for us to hit headshots. Also recovering stamina every time we kill an enemy with a headshot. So we are topped up on that stamina to be able to use Deadeye. Basically, it all comes to keeping up the stamina. And even increasing even more the damage we do with Deadeye, basically, and for the headshots we do, right? Also, this one, High Noon, allows us to slow down time by 50% during a reload. And this is incredible because we also get reload speed bonus. We're gonna be basically reloading the gun faster while the time is slowed. So you're gonna be able to shoot. You're not gonna be able to reload in your enemy's eyes. Basically, you're not gonna be reloading in your enemy's eyes. You're just shooting at all times. With Nerves of Tungsten Steel, you get guaranteed crit hits for headshots and weak spots. So not only are we getting headshot damage multipliers, but we're also getting that crit damage multiplier. We're going to be doing massive damage on headshots. And Running Gun only affects pistols, but this is very useful. If you want to use a pistol, for example, if you want to use Her Majesty, as you can see, if I shoot while aiming, stamina goes down. But if I shoot while hip firing, stamina does not go down, and that allows us to be able to use Deadeye all times with this pistol. As you can see, Deadeye does not go away. And you can do this with any pistol you want, but only works with pistol. If you use a revolver, you can see stamina do go down, and Deadeye goes down as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue with the build. We're gonna use feline footwork, small target, blind spot with unexposed. You wanna get ninjutsu with all the perks on the side, and vanishing act. Why do we want this? This is basically more survivability, faster crouching running speed. And why do we want this? If you're ever in a pickle, let's say you're low on health, no health items left, what you can do is just crouch and run. You're gonna go invisible while mitigating all damage that comes to you. So you can run away to wherever you want to recharge your health items or to heal up or recharge your Deadeye. If you're ever in a pickle, this is gonna help you out. Also, since we're using Her Majesty, you wanna use Killer Instinct with quick getaway for more stealth damage, stealth bonuses. And that will be everything for the build. This is all you need, basically. But as you can see, we have 7 extra perk points. If you have this, let me show you what you can do with this. You want to get Hearing Cool. Hearing Cool, you want to get Pull. I don't really use this a lot. I don't find myself shooting grenades much because enemies don't throw grenades much at me. I don't know if that's a glitch or whatever, but I don't find it common, right? That's why I don't use it much. But when they do happen, it's pretty fun to shoot them grenades out of the air. Also, you want to get Gag Order. Even more bonus for stealth, helps you keep yourself on stealth to do even more damage with stealth. In Technical Ability, you want to get 1 in Pyromania just for that little recharge speed for health items, a little more survivability. We're not topping up on this because we're not using grenades or we're not using the projectile launch system. And also you want to get 1 into bolt. If you want to use a tech pistol, you can go ahead and do that, or a tech revolver, you can do that. And the charge speed is reduced for tech weapons, if you want to use a tech weapon. But you can put this extra perk points wherever you want, basically. Now, I'm putting one unstoppable first. If we're having a pickle, adrenaline rush, we proc adrenaline rush. We are basically immune to movement penalties, knockdown, blinding. We're basically a tank. We're not. We're able to run away and heal. And for the extra 2 perk points, you can do whatever you want with this. I have them personally on Fury Road and on Gearhead. For this is basically just quality of life, since I'm using cars and vehicles a lot, and I do a lot of these more vehicle request things. It helps me out a lot on those missions, but you can go ahead and put those perk points wherever you want, wherever you want. If you even want to use the projectile launch system, you can just top up this and go ahead and get Doom Launcher. You can do whatever you want with those points. I just have them there because I think it's the favorite spot for them to have them for me. Anyway, let's move on. For the cyberware, we're going to be using the Apogees and Devistan, and we're using this because it's basically the best Devistan in the game. There's nothing that can top this, and we want to slow down time. We're not using any other Devistan because it doesn't slow down time enough. We're not using a Berserk because although it gives us a lot of damage, we don't slow down time, and we're not using the Cyberdex because we are not a net runner, we are a gunslinger. So we're using the Apogee Sun Devistan. I believe you can find this anywhere in the game. I found mine in a gig. I was doing a gig and I found it in a crate. Otherwise, you can just buy it from Dogtown, I believe. So it's not much of a problem. And now, this is very important for your cyberware. Before you start upgrading your cyberware, you want to come here to technical ability and take 1 point from whenever you want and put it on chipware connoisseur. Why do we want to do this? And this is totally optional, by the way. If you don't want to do it, you do not have to do it. But as you can see here in the cyberware, down there on headshot damage multiplier, down there on the cyberware, we have headshot damage multiplier. We ideally want to have this on every single piece of cyberware. As you can see, I have every single piece of cyberware with a headshot damage multiplier bonus. You don't have to do this. And I'll be totally honest with you, this is a pain on the ass to do. But if you want to do it, you are welcome to do it. This gives you a lot of damage. And if you want to get the most out of this build, this is going to help out a lot. Because you're not only going to be getting the damage bonuses from these guns, but you're going to be getting a damage bonus of headshot damage multiplier at all times. As you can see here, I have 89% headshot damage multiplier at all times, and this stacks up. If I put Archangel on, now instead of 89, now it's 309. It is pretty crazy, and we're going to be doing a lot of damage. Now this is totally optional. Again, you don't have to do this. I believe you can get this up to 100%, but as I said, it's just very annoying to do, right? So while you're doing this, if you want to do it, I recommend using Chipware Connoisseur. It's going to give you an extra option for you to choose. Super useful when you're doing this. But if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. Just keep it on here. Anyway, let's go ahead and showcase the cyberware. We're going to use the Kiroshi, the Oracle Optics. You can use whatever you want, really. I just use this because it helps out a lot on stealth for seeing enemies and cameras and turrets and devices and stuff behind the walls. I just think it's more useful for this build. It does the best. It does the best on this build, basically. Anything else you can use, but this one is like the best for me, personally. For the hands, we're going to use Shock Absorber and Ballistic Coprocessor. We're going to use Ballistic Coprocessor for ricochet damage, but we don't really use ricochet. I don't really use ricochet that much, but I do gotta say, it happens. Even when I don't want it to, sometimes I hit an enemy and the bullet ricochets to another one, and that's always welcome, right? You always want more damage. We're not gonna say no damage, so we're gonna be using this. And Shock Absorber for less recoil, and since it's cooler tuned, it gives us more headshot damage. Anyway, circulatory system. We're gonna use heal on kill, no brainer. Every time you kill an enemy, you're gonna top up on health. And you're gonna be killing enemies with one shot, so you're gonna be topped up on health at all times with this. Okay. With clutch padding, again, we're using this for less stamina cost for shooting to keep up on Deadeye. That's basically our build. You just want to keep up on stamina for using Deadeye and doing massive amounts of damage. Blood Pump. We're going to use Blood Pump because I think it's the best in slot. There's not anything else that you can really use that's going to help on the build, and I think this is just the most helpful since you can just immediately activate it. Gives you more damage because we have the adrenaline rush with the Juggernaut. So every time we activate this, it's going to give us more damage, and you can activate it instantly. But if you don't want to use it, you can use whatever you want, right? Same thing for the legs. If you don't want to use fortified legs, if you prefer the double jump, you can just go ahead and use the reinforced tendons. I use the 45 ankles to get that extra armor and to charge jump, basically. But you can use whatever you want, right? Also try to keep up on the edge runner, right, to get that fury chance up for even more damage. But also try not to exceed it to not get that max health reduced. Of course, we're going to use the cellular adapter because we have a point on that. We're going to be using that. We're using this basically because it's the best in slot again. There's nothing else that you can use here, really. You can use subdermal armor if you want to use the point for something else, but I think the cellular adapter is just the best in slot. Gives us, more tech weapon damage. You want to use tech pistols, health item recharge, explosion resistance. It's just very useful. But if you don't want to use it, then you can use whatever you want. Me personally, think is the best in slot. Now, optical camo, we're gonna be using this, of course. We have a lot of perks into that, as we run. We also have the relic points on that. So of course we are gonna be using it. It's a no-brainer. Defensive cuff, when currency cuff ends, this thingy right here, we get 90% mitigation chance. So if you're in a pickle, what you want to do is do currency cuff. When it ends, just go away. You're going to be mitigating all the damage that you're going to be receiving, so you can go ahead and heal up and hide. More survivability, basically. You want to use this synaptic accelerator, slows down time by 50% for 4.5 seconds. When enemy detection reaches 50%, again, even more time slowing. It's welcome. Sometimes this procs randomly. I don't know, it's kind of glitched. But it's always welcome to slow down time. If you don't want to use it, if you find it annoying, you can use anything else, but I think this is the best in slot. There's nothing else that really gives you bonuses for this build. Of course, we want to be using the deep field visual interface to get that crit chance up to 100% at 100 meters. This helps us a lot, right? Because we're not only using headshot damage multiplier, but we're also using the crit damage multiplier and crit chance. We're gonna be damaging enemies, doing massive amounts of damage. Sorry. For the skeleton, we're only using this for armor. This is just armor, damage resistance. Nothing here helps out for the build. We're only topping up on this because we need more armor, and we also want to be using the cyborg perk. So for all cyberware, we get cooldown reduced if all cyberware spots are filled. This is just more armor. We're going to be using Parabellum, Scarab, and Bionic Joints for more armor, basically. And this one, as though it, oh my god, I just had a stroke. Anyway, even though it takes out movement speed when crouched, we have a lot of movement speed when crouched anyway, and it gives us even more armor. So basically, we're gonna be immortal pretty much when running away. Even more survivability, basically. For the arms, you can use anything you want. You can use Mantis Blades. You can use the other thing, the projectile launch system. If you want to reallocate your perk points, you can go ahead and do that. Put them in Doom Launcher. You can use whatever you want. I use Gorilla Arms because it gives me 6 to body attribute checks. As you can see here, we don't have full 20% on body. 20 points on body. And this locks us out of a lot of dialogue. And also we can't force open some doors. So if you don't care about that, you can use whatever you want. But for me, I want to use that. So I use Gorilla Arms. It takes care of them. Anyway, axolotl. I hope I explained myself. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna use axolotl. Basically, we cool down the cyberware by 7.5 every time we kill an enemy. Again, we're gonna be killing enemies with one shot pretty much. So we're gonna be cooling down that cyberware all the time. We're gonna be keeping up that cyberware up all the time. Slowing down time for the with the Currency off and the Sun Devil Sun, we're gonna be hitting those headshots at all times. You want to use the Kerensky boost system. I think it's the best in slot as well. Just gives us more time for, and I think cooldown. What does this do? Right, it slows down time even more, and basically it costs nothing to shoot from Kerensky, basically. So we keep up on that Deadeye. Even more Deadeye. Hell yes. That's what we want. And Mechatronic Core, we only have this because it's best in slot. Anything else is just RAM, and we're not using RAM. We're not using a Cyber Deck. We're using a Sun, and we're using Mechatronic Core because our damage focuses on headshot damage. Now, of course, drones, robots, mech, and turrets do not have a head. We cannot headshot them. So, we're using Mechatronic Core to do even more damage to those enemies we are weak to. Also, in the relic, you want to use this to find their weak spots. So you don't have to die to a mech just because you can't headshot them. Really useful, really nice. Anyway, that will be all for the cyberware. Now for the weapons. You want to be using mainly Archangel and Her Majesty. I would recommend to use Her Majesty at all times because it does a lot of damage on stealth. If you get spotted, you swap out to Archangel. Archangel is crazy. The more headshots you hit, the more damage you do. It multiplies the headshot damage. You can get up to 3,000. I've seen it go up to 4,000. It's crazy, right? Same thing with the Her Majesty. It can do 3,000 damage. It's crazy. And I also like to use the Lexington. Even more damage. I like to use it because it's automatic pistol. It does a lot of damage really quickly. You can use any pistol you want, or sniper, or revolver. Anything you like. Treat yourself. Anything you want. Anything works. I use mine with RC7, the VUC, and Pinpoint. This basically makes it a laser gun. Super accurate gun. Firecracker as well. For explosive rounds, burning enemies, even more damage. You can use whatever you want. And you get the Archangel revolver from Kerry Eurodyne. I think it's from the Chipping mission. I'm not sure. I know it's from the mission where you do a samurai gig, you do a samurai concert. At the end of that concert, Kerry gives you Archangel. So it's very hard to miss. Just do Johnny's storyline and you will get Archangel. Same with Her Majesty. You will get this by doing Dogtown. The Dogtown story, you will eventually get Her Majesty. Hard to miss. And you get Lexington. If you want to use the Lexington, you get this from the gun contest from this guy right here. In your apartment, this guy right here in this weapon shop gives you a secondary mission. If you win the contest, you get the Lexington. Anyhow, for your clothes, you want to use anything that gives you armor and zoom. I use also this because it's best in slot. This is not necessary, but if you can do it, just do it. It's more armor. Anyway, let me showcase how this build works and the damage it can do. As you can see right now, we're on very hard difficulty. Let me explain to you how this works, basically. We're here on the Pacific Pier, a lot of enemies around. We want to kill these Valentinos right here. What we're going to do is, let me showcase our Kanyu first. Pop up the blood pump, start headshotting. As you can see, we one-shot these enemies instantly. They're all dead. Not a single chance. With Her Majesty, you want to come here. Blood pump. You saw that, right? Blood pump. With the optical camo, you can kill anything. They won't see you. You're doing massive amounts of damage. Now, you see, optical camo is on cooldown. I can't use it, no problem. Just crouch and run, and you can use it. So you can use it at all times, pretty much. Let's go to a big area with a lot of enemies. Let's see what this build can really do. Right here, for example. Want to kill all these enemies. Blood pump, Sandevistan. Boom, 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 boom. As you can see, my Sandevistan is still at the top. Karazikov, boom, boom, boom. Sandevistan, boom, boom, boom. We're doing massive amounts of damage. Now, of course, you want to hit the headshots. You do a lot of damage to the body as well, but if you want to one-shot and get the most out of the build, you need to hit those headshots. That's why we have a lot of time slowing abilities. So it's easier for you to hit them headshots. Boom, 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 boom. 3,000 critical headshot. Wow, a lot of damage, guys. This build is absolutely crazy. Let's use Her Majesty again. Blood pump, boom, boom, boom. Not a single chance they stand. We're on very hard difficulty also. So this build is absolutely crazy, guys. And that will be all for this build, basically. If you guys want to see more builds in this channel, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Papi Tony out.